No problem. It is 10:44. I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting with welcome and introductions. I am Commissioner Trish Pfeiffer. I am the Polk TPO chair, and I'm going to just give you a heads up. I have to leave at 11:30. So, because I have another meeting in Bartow, and it's an hour drive according to my map. Oh, an hour and 1 minute. So just wanted to let you know that I may pass the gavel or the microphone if we're not done. So be thinking who wants to raise their hand to take that. So with that, let's start with introductions. I've given you my introduction, Ryan, and then I'll go around this way.
Good morning, Ryan.
Chelsea, do we need to pass this for recording purposes? Okay, that's what I thought.
Good morning, Sarah Caper, staff with the Hillsborough TPO.
Morning, everybody. I'm Andy Ross. I'm mayor of Temple Terrace and chair of the Hillsborough TPO.
Good morning. I'm Whit Blanton, the executive director of Ford Pinellas, and today with us is Gina Driscoll, who's a St. Pete council member and chair of our board.
Good morning, Tania Gorman, Pasco MPO executive director.
Jack Morano, Pasco County Commissioner, Chairman.
Matt Murphy, Deputy Mayor Newport Richey and Chair of the Pasco MPO.
Ryan Brown, Deputy Director of the Sarasota Manatee MPO. Mayor should be here shortly. Thank you.
Brian Hunter with the Florida Department of Transportation, District 7.
Rebecca Bays, Citrus County Commissioner, Chair of the MPO.
Good morning, Bob Esposito with the Hernando Citrus MPO. I'm the Executive Director.
Mike Bays, chauffeur.
David Allen, Assistant County Administrator with Pasco County Overdevelopment Services.
Good morning. I'm Michael Gagliardi with the City of St. Pete.
Casey Rivera from Polk TPO.
Angela Kaufman, Polk TPO.
Wayne Gaither, FDOT District 1.
Stephanie Garcia, Pasco MPO.
Lori Shediger, Pasco MPO.
Suzanne Ziegler, FDOT District 7.
Angel Avila, Pasco MPO.
Sean Hoffman, Pasco MPO.
Thank you everyone for being here. And now we'll have public comment. Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak? Okay. Right. Okay, good. Next, we're going to go on to approval of the SCTPA meeting summary from May 23rd, 2025. Everybody get those? Any questions on that? And I need a motion. All right, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, those are approved. Moving on to history and purpose of SC. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Okay, hold on 1 second. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Good morning. I'm Gina Driscoll, St. Petersburg City Council, and representing Ford Pinellas.
Alrighty, next we have the history and purpose of SCTPA, and this will be by Sarah Caper. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Good morning, Sarah Caper, Hillsborough TPO. So a little bit about the Suncoast Transportation Planning Alliance. You can see here the map of the different MPOs that are represented and participate. And you can see some information about our region. And a real key piece of this is that we all recognize transportation doesn't stop at county lines, and we need to speak as one voice for the region. And part of why we plan regionally is we know that we have one of the most populated regions in the country and one of the fastest growing. And we need to continue to improve our ability to address regionally significant transportation issues, provide a unified message, that one voice, and solve our interregional transportation conflicts. This began in the early 1990s with the Chair's Coordinating Committee. You can see here on the slide, and it has evolved over the years. In 2000, the legislature added Sarasota Manatee and the Polk MTPOs. In 2011, Citrus County TPO was admitted as a full member. In 2013, the Chair's Coordinating Committee merged with TPARTA, which changed in 2016 with TBARTA's changes. And then in 2021, the Chair's Coordinating Committee was rebranded as the SCTPA and was removed from the TBARTA umbrella. The focus areas are coordinated project selection process, which you'll hear about later this meeting, the regional conflict resolution process, coordinating our public involvement efforts, and our trails planning. The structure, as you can see here in front of you, we have one elected board member from each of the MPOs. We have partner entities that serve in a non-voting capacity, such as FDOT. Staff is provided by the member MPOs, and our duties are shared amongst us, so we take turns, like you could see here today. And our actions are then forwarded to our member MPOs for formal motions of support. Our chair rotates regularly. And here are some successes we've had listed on the slide, from the Courtney Campbell Trail to I-275 and the Suncoast Parkway extensions. Right now, we are working together to develop a regional benefit cost analysis tool. We're doing our annual update of the priorities at this meeting later on, advancing different trail segments, advocating collectively for passenger rail, considering the merger of the Tampa Bay TMA MPOs, which you'll hear an update on later this meeting, and then aligning the prioritization processes of the Tampa Bay TMA MPOs. And again, kind of this idea of one voice for the region. And with that, I would take any questions and encourage the other TPO, MPO staff who've worked with us longer than I have can chime in and provide any additional feedback.
Okay, any questions? Sure.
A few years ago. We've been at this longer than some of my staff have been alive. So back to 1993. It started with lunch between the Hillsborough and Pinellas County Commissioners, who were the chair of the MPOs at the time, because we weren't talking. And those of you who sat in the previous meeting, we are now talking a lot among all of our 3 MPOs, at least in the core area of this region. But I wanted to point out one thing. Legislation requires that this organization come together. If we want to access Transportation Regional Incentive Program dollars, which have gradually shrunk in the legislature from when they were initiated back in the early 2000s, we have to vote as this body. You can't access those funds without having a regional alliance of MPOs together. And some of the examples that Sarah cited, the Gateway Expressway, if you've been in Pinellas County, it's the only real new highway we've built in a long, long time. That was partially funded with Transportation Regional Incentive Program dollars. So the Courtney Campbell Causeway and many of those other examples, we accessed that one specific source of funding. It didn't pay for the whole project, but it was a key filler of a gap. And I would just ask, if you ever have a chance to talk to any of your legislators, ask them to increase Transportation Regional Incentive Program funds, because they have shrunk them just about every year. And regional collaboration doesn't come easy, but if you put money in front of people, it comes a lot easier. So that's originally why the Chair's Coordinating Committee was created. We're in state statutes as this organization, and we've done a lot to formalize the structure over the last several years. And I guess I just want to make sure that you all who come here feel like you're getting something out of this partnership. So if you have suggestions about what we can do better and how we can work together better, this is a great forum and a great opportunity, but talk to your staff directors, and we meet regularly and we can bring those ideas back. So I just want to make sure that that's an opportunity for everybody. That's it.
The review and approve major regional transportation priorities, and you're on again, Sarah.
Okay. So our next item on the major regional priorities, this is something we do annually, and the major projects advance our regional long-range transportation plan. Recently, because of our collective support, we completed the Gateway Expressway, as Whit mentioned, the Sunrunner Bus Rapid Transit, and the I-75 interchange at Big Bend Road. Recently, we had projects funded because of our collective support. I won't read all of them for you. They're in your packet and on the slide, but some examples are phases 1 and 2 of the West Shore Interchange, the Central Polk Parkway segments 1 and 2, different pieces of I-4, and phase 1 of the Hart Heavy Maintenance Facility. That said, we still have a number of unfunded priorities, as you can see here before you, ranging from the I-75 interchange at Gibsonton to State Road 54 US 41 intersection, the DeSoto Bridge replacement, the phase 2 of the Hart Heavy Maintenance Facility, regional passenger rail, and the Pasco Hernando County Line Road project. So you can see the full list here and in your packet. Generally, most of these have not changed from last year. And here's a map of some of those regional priorities and their status. The next steps we're requesting of you this morning is action from the SCTPA, and then these will be transmitted to the MPO TPOs and the Florida Department of Transportation. And myself and the executive directors from the different agencies are here to take any questions you have.
Any questions? Yes, sir.
Thank you. Not so much as question, just an update on two of our projects, the Bradenton Palmetto Connector and the DeSoto Bridge replacement. Those projects kind of worked hand in hand. One's a replacement for the bridge and the other is a capacity improvement. The DeSoto Bridge replacement itself was funded in 27 for construction, but then deferred this work program cycle back to 2031. So we can show that as an update, but it is out in the 5th year of the current work program. Also, the Bradenton Palmetto Connector is currently in PD&E, should be wrapping up shortly, and we're still awaiting design funds for that. So I can transmit that to you all just for updating purposes. But through construction, the DeSoto Bridge will be funded for construction in 2031. So just wanted to add that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning again, Ryan Kordick with the Polk TPO. I wonder, looking at this list, based on the governor's recent announcement, talking about the Interstate 4, adding the express lanes to Interstate 4, if that should be a project shown. Maybe it's a little bit after the fact, but the announcement's been made, and maybe it could be reflected in the priorities here. So I'd really defer to my counterparts at Hillsborough County.
And the Hillsborough TPO board approved a TIP amendment incorporating that project at our meeting earlier this week.
Yeah. So again, maybe that's appropriate to add that project to the list. Again, just a suggestion.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. So you need an approval on that?
Yes, please.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. I'm sorry. I need a motion first. Okay. Good. Okay, there you go. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? All right, there you go. Thank you very much. Next, we have legislative update. These are always full of colorful and interesting insights. Take it away, Whit.
If I could we do the item 5 first?
Oh, yeah, did I miss that? Yes, okay. Sorry, Sarah, go right ahead.
That's okay. I will just briefly introduce for you, and I know some of you were participating in the last meeting of the TMA leadership group, the regional MPO framework analysis and upcoming steps. We, since your last SCTPA meeting, have hired a consultant, White House group, that is assisting us with this effort. We kicked off the project in August, and in November, we had a principals workshop where we invited the elected and appointed officials from every local government in Pasco, Pinellas, and Hillsborough counties to participate in, I think what we heard at the last meeting was a very robust discussion, but the start, and we have a lot more discussion to be had. So we look forward to continuing those at the February TMA meeting. We're still looking at the date. We heard some updates on the date that was up there, so we're going to find a new date. We're going to invite the 3 county commissions and the city of Tampa to join the TMA in continuing those discussions. And I would open it up to anyone who was at the last meeting if you have anything you'd like to add to that update.
Anybody? Okay, don't see anything.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, Whit, back to you.
Yeah, I know. I was like, wait, can I just chew this for a minute? I'm going to keep this really brief. As you know, we're not yet in session, but bills have started to be filed. The governor has released his budget. It's another record year for transportation if the budget goes the governor's way. But as you know, the legislature is ultimately who's responsible for adopting and approving a budget. I do want to mention two bills that are probably relevant to everybody in this room. One is Senate Bill 180, which has effectively stymied a lot of planning across the state of Florida. There is a glitch bill that has been filed by Senator DeSegli. It's Senate Bill 840. If you want to track that bill, it modifies Senate Bill 180 in the following ways. For future hurricanes, it amends the prohibition of more restrictive or burdensome regulations to apply only to those that interfere with property owners' ability to repair or reconstruct damaged buildings, which makes a lot more sense than the blanket prohibition before. It keeps the post-Helene and Milton preemption that applies to areas that were impacted by those hurricanes, but it sunsets that preemption on June 30th, 2026 instead of 2027. So at least it shortens that time a little bit. It has similar language narrowing the definition of impacted communities as another set of bills, House Bill 217 and Senate Bill 218. And it deletes the requirements for the Office of Program Policy and Government Accountability to study the need for the preemption. So there's a little bit of good and bad in the bill, but it's overall a big improvement over what's in legislation right now. The other bill that I want to mention is the transportation bill that's been filed. And the good news is it has no language about MPOs, but it's filed by the same sponsor who had a pretty harsh bill for MPOs a couple of years ago. This is House Bill 543. It's a 47-page bill. It is sponsored by Representative McFarland from Sarasota County. It shortens the definition of micromobility device from both a human-powered and non-human powered device, such as a bicycle, electric bicycle, motorized scooter that is owned, to devices such as an electric bicycle and a motorized scooter. So it just gives a more clean, shorter definition of that. It encourages the use of AI for signal timing and creates a grant for that program. And I've been told by a traffic engineer that AI will change everything when it comes to traffic signal synchronization. So we'll see about that. It directs FDOT to increase the minimum perception reaction time of all steady yellow signals statewide by 0.4 of a second. I guess that's to improve safety. It allows titling and registration of golf carts converted to low-speed vehicles. It allows a private entity to install an automated license plate recognition system on its own property for public safety purposes, with some controls for privacy. And it deletes a requirement that FDOT will cooperate with the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles in the enforcement of air and water quality standards. It also includes some topics related to international fuel taxes, spaceports, seaports, motor vehicle noise, and electronic credentialing of driver's licenses. But the good news is no harsh restrictions on MPOs. I think that's it.
Okay, 543 you said? Yeah, I was looking that up. And is that by Fiona McFarland? Yeah, and she's really good. People love her up there. She's very well respected. Any bill that she does is really paid attention to. I do really like her, so I'm going to follow that bill. And she's just one of those that when she proposes a bill, they listen. So I will study that. Thank you for that. Next, we have FDOT comments. Who is that? Is that? Okay, well, you can have a bagel too if you have none.
I would just like to reiterate Brian's comments. Honestly, that's the only thing I'd really bring up is we are still in, my apologies, we're still working on our work program. We have finished our first run
for the tentative work program, with public hearings on our side being taken care of in late October. Glad to say that District 1 has not received any objections, which is par for the course, but still always glad to see no objections to the tentative work program. We will continue working with Polk, Sarasota, Manatee, and ensuring that we have community input within the tentative work program as it gets submitted through the process.
Thank you, Wayne. I sent Wayne last night I don't have it here right now, but what the transportation allocations were from the governor. And I said, how does this compare to last year? Because I was curious. I didn't know. And he said last year was the biggest, but this year was good. So that is good. And again, we will have to just hope that it sticks and gets passed. Okay, next we have member comments. Anybody have any comments they'd like to share? Y'all aren't as talkative as the last meeting, but maybe that's a good thing. What's that? Yeah, well, okay. So really nothing else, anybody? Okay, I think, is this, oh, yes, ma'am.
To me, it's pretty important that we follow that. I know when they did the economic impact component of that, they talked about Central Florida, which is Hernando and Citrus. And as you go north, it's kind of some of the last places that there's enough electric grid for any major manufacturing, commercial, industrial development. And with property taxes being talked about, I don't know how much of what we're discussing here is going to take some kind of a match from local governments. So to me, I think it's worthy of us to keep our eye on the ball. If that happens, I think it'll be much like COVID. I think you'll have a lot of people that will move to Florida if that bill or that if property taxes are eliminated. And we'll see a lot of people come, and it's really going to put a burden, I believe, on local governments. So I think as a body, a group talking regional transportation, we really need to be at the forefront and thinking about what's going to happen next.
You're absolutely right. We did our 2050 projected plan just for TPO. And as a commissioner of my city, I'm the only one on the TPO. I had Ryan come to our city and give that talk because I couldn't convey all of those details like he did, because as commissioners, we're trying to make decisions about growth and whatever. It's all going to be related with infrastructure. And I didn't think it was fair for one commissioner to know that. So I had him come and give his talk about that. It's going to continue to be, we're going to continue to be impacted, and you're absolutely correct. If the taxes go that way, we're going to be a hotbed of more influx than we already are, and how we're going to manage that. Another item that I brought up to Ryan that Congress is looking at is a pilot project for trucks, semi-trucks, to be longer and heavier. That's an impact on our roads as well, as far as wear and tear. So it's things like these that are outliers that can be impactful down the road, and not to mention data centers that are a hot topic right now. So there's a lot of moving parts into especially this, and this is the number one complaint that we all get, is congestion and traffic. So I try to pay attention to it as best I can, and it's a heavy lift for what we're doing. So I do appreciate the efforts of our TPO directors who are trying to manage this regionally and locally. Okay, that's my comment. Anybody else? Seriously, I mean, you know, our people don't get it. Our citizens really don't get it. And I take more complaints. And we were driving over here and I said, Ryan, you know, Polk County, or Bartow is the capital city of Polk County, and FDOT is there, District 1. I said, I want to get a list of all of our infrastructure improvements from FDOT, our city, from our gas tax, which isn't a whole lot, And I'm going to compile a list of what our improvements are so I can just post that on my page, because people are always saying, well, we don't have infrastructure for that. Well, actually, we really do, and it's really good. So stop complaining is what I kind of want to say. But they just, in the last meeting, they said, she sat right here and she says, education, education. And that is true. We constantly need to be reminding folks at any opportunity we can that we're out here doing a lot of work, and it's a heavy lift for what we have and the funds we have to do it. But this is what we're doing. And we just, we've got the Central Polk Parkway about 3 miles from our city. That's huge for us. And if we want to hop on the I-4, that's going to be the quickest way to do that. So it's always good to highlight, because we're the bad guys, and it's always great to highlight what we can of the positives. And so I guess that's it. And that's what I'll leave you with. And if there's nothing else, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you so much. It was a great one. See you in February.